Seller concessions. How much can I get? Seller concessions is when a seller has agreed to pay for some or all of the buyer's closing costs. And with closing costs being anywhere from $5,000 up to $8,000 and possibly even higher in certain circumstances, this could be a huge benefit in savings. But how much can a seller contribute? Here's the chart. All right, so here's a cheat sheet. It says for realtors, but truly it's for realtors, buyers, and even loan officers, if I might be honest. And what it's saying is here's 4 different types of loans: conventional, FHA, VA, and USDA. I'm only going to go over a couple of these. But what I want to point out is that when we're talking about, let's say, 3% seller concessions, that's 3% of the purchase price, typically, that the seller is willing to contribute towards the buyer's closing costs. What that means is if you're buying a home for $300,000 and the seller contributes up to 3% seller contribution, that's 3% of $300,000, which is a $9,000 closing cost that they're willing to help pay off for you. So now let's start off with conventional. Conventional loan, if it's a primary, secondary home, if you put down less than 10%, the seller can contribute up to 3%. You put down 10 to 25%, seller can contribute up to 8%, and so on. If you go to FHA, take a look at that. That FHA requires a 3.5% down payment. The second you put down 3.5%, then with the seller is able to contribute 6% towards seller concessions. Now, I've actually had this happen about 2 months ago where somebody actually got the full 6%, and we used 3% of that to buy down the rate, maybe 3.5%, and 2.5% of that 6% to pay off all the closing costs. That was definitely a win-win. Now, that's very rare to come across, but it can and does happen. And take a look at VA. VA is really different in the fact that if you follow it through, it's a primary home, obviously. VA, you can contribute up to as much as you want towards seller or obtain as much as the seller's willing to contribute. However, with these seller concessions, you're actually able to pay off debt, right? So it says up to 4%. So let's just use that same scenario with FHA. Let's say for VA, somebody offered you 6% seller concessions. Well, if they offered you 6% seller concessions, you could use 4% of that to pay off debt. Let's say you have a car, right? A car that's worth $8,000. Well, 4% of a $400,000 loan should very easily pay off that car. And let's say that car is $450 a month. Well, now we can exclude that debt because we're going to pay off that car. And now when you used to qualify for a $300,000 home, now you qualify for a $350,000 home or possibly even more. So these are the things to consider when looking at seller concessions. There's so many different opportunities with buying down the interest rate, paying off closing costs, reducing principal. There's a lot that can be done. So if you have any questions, please give me a call. Ruben Chavez, Too Strong Mortgage. Remember, life is not meant to be, it's meant to create. Too Strong.